Build Up Korea began with the small vision that God gave me. While living in the United States, I was deeply moved after attending Turning Point America Fest and especially President Trump's rally. So I saw so many Christians in America crying out for freedom and God, and I witnessed many praying for the American government. I observed how everyone took pride in the Declaration of Independence and Constitution, which declared the United States a free nation. At that moment, I thought, oh, maybe we need this in our country as well. I've lived in the United States since elementary school, so I didn't know much about Korean history. Looking at America, it led me to start studying for Korean history. Seeing America's example inspired me, someone who once hated learning history, to delve into Korea's history. And what I discovered was astonishing. I found that Korea is very similar to the United States, or rather that Korea's founding is almost identical to the founding of the United States. Our founding father met God in prison through a American missionary actually. He envisioned America as heaven on earth and established the Republic of Korea with the hope that our people who had lived as slaves for a long time under colonial rule could live in freedom. And there was one document that our founding father admired that is from America, that is the Declaration of Independence. And he took the values of that declaration to use them to establish the Republic of Korea. I was grateful to the United States, and I thought, maybe we should revive the spirit among Koreans. But there was a problem, like always. Certain forces in our country have distorted the difficult and yet beautiful history of Korea, leading many to believe that our founding father is a dictator, and our national identity has been wrongly perceived ever since then. This, of course, is due to education, and this led me start this amazing grassroots movement called Build Up Korea, inspired by Americans. Thank you. And thank you. And of course, I feared it would be unpopular, failing movement in such an environment. However, during my prayer on New Year's Day on 2023, God gave me the answer that now is the time. So it began. The first Korea's American-style, next-generation conservative grassroots movement. Sorry, it's too long. So Republic of Korea is a special nation. 70 years ago, we were one of the poorest nations on earth. However, by looking to America, we built this nation on the truth and the values of Creator God. And within 70 years, we became one of the wealthiest nations in the world. Today, Korean culture is leading trends not only in the East, but also in the West. We're now sending more missionaries around the world than any other country except for the United States. And I'm very proud of my country, Korea. And I love America, which has influenced us in this way. For this hard-earned freedom to be maintained, we cannot simply struggle to protect it with human effort alone. Freedom, which is God-given, comes from the top down. And the same goes for when we are praying for our nations. We must consider first what is happening spiritually and then come down to pray for our nations. This means Korea cannot just focus on ourselves for peace to be maintained in the world, but must pursue the belief that freedom must prevail in global spiritual battle that we're going through between God and no God first. Then we can be free from the top down. And I know it's not easy. Sometimes you must give up something small for something greater. But giving up something small will never harm you. Because all freedom comes from sacrifice and discomfort. Freedom is not doing what you want, but it's doing what you must. And America, wait for it, and America did this for South Korea. And thank you for fighting these uncomfortable battles for us. I love this active audience. Thank you. And now, South Korea will join with you in this fight for freedom and stand with you in this fierce spiritual and ideological battle. But before that, there is one task left for us along the way. Even though much has been given to us and we have prospered greatly, there is still one more thing we must desperately pray for, and that is North Korea. Not only are they not free, but they are dying of starvation, and many of them survive by eating turfs or bark. The liberation of the starving and destitute in North Korea is a mission and calling that the people of South Korea carry. And we have no choice but to work to bring freedom for these people. And here's the point. And if the United States and South Korea are so closely linked and related, I believe this is also a mission and calling for Americans as well. Galatians 5:1 says, for freedom, Christ has set us free. And stand firm, therefore, and do not submit to the yoke of slavery. And then Psalm 68:5 says, Father of the fatherless, protector of the widows is God in his holy habitation. So I have a question for you. We must care for the widows and orphans in this world. And where are all the widows and orphans? Of course, they're in war zones, among refugees and many other places. But the people of this one nation are being oppressed without the freedom to even escape. And that nation is North Korea. It is South Korea's mission to free those slaves in the North and Americas too. But how? I believe the only way for the starving and dying North Koreans to be freed is through the reunification of the two Koreas through the gospel. And only then can those dying without choice can come back to life. There's something I must say to the American speakers gathered in this room today. There is a reason you're here now in this critical time. You're here because you know what freedom is. You're here because you know where the good news comes from. You're here because you can't stand not sharing the good news with others. And you're here because you know now that you're here, you're going to fight with us to free those poor slaves in the north of us. And lastly, you're here because God called you here to see the love of all the South Koreans for America. Do you all agree? Woo. So I believe as we fight against these evil ideologies of the world together, Korea and America are allies. And we're also friends. And John 15:13 says, greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. Would you lay down your life for your friend? I will, and we will for you. And this is the last verse we have today. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. I promise you as a leader of this godly movement in Korea that I will work to fight for the freedom of America, Korea, and this world with all my heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. It's almost done. And I want to ask you all to do the same for us. And together, we can make America great again and can make Korea great again. I love you all and thank you for making your way here. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Korea. Thank you.